If you're loving this podcast, be sure to check out the full lineup. From news and local politics to sports and true crime. Find your next great listen right now at duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts. That's duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Wednesday, February 8th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now, here's a look at today's headlines. Power produced by Minnesota utilities will have to be completely generated by carbon-free sources by 2040 under a bill signed into law by Governor Tim Walz on Tuesday. The bill was fast-tracked through the Minnesota legislature and sets a timeline for electric utilities to transition to clean energy, 80% by the year 2030. It also requires 55% of electricity sold by Minnesota utilities to be generated from technologies like wind and solar. Supporters, including DFL lawmakers and the governor, say Minnesota needs to take decisive action to reduce carbon emissions in order to combat climate change. North Dakota officials are preparing to file a lawsuit against Minnesota over the new law on the grounds that it interferes with their ability to sell coal and natural gas. Minnesota is a major customer for North Dakota fossil fuels, and Republican Governor Doug Burgum said Monday that it was an issue of, quote, state sovereignty, end quote. A 2007 Minnesota law on emissions was overturned by a federal court after North Dakota brought similar legal action. Walz on Tuesday said he had faith the new law would stand up to legal challenges and said it was unfortunate Minnesota's neighbor was considering a lawsuit. Republicans in the House and Senate attempted to advance numerous amendments to the bill before it passed, including a requirement for the state to delay the standard if it causes significant rate increases or hurts reliability, and allowing utilities to request a modification of standards. They also attempted to include an exception to the state's nuclear power moratorium that would allow the construction of small modular nuclear reactors. The bill passed on party lines in both chambers. A fire caused approximately $400,000 in damage to a house in Hibbing on Tuesday morning. It's the fourth house fire on the Iron Range since Thursday. At 6:10 a.m., crews responded to a report of a smoke alarm going off and a smoke-filled home at 1313 18th Street, according to a news release from the Hibbing Fire Department. The sound of a smoke alarm woke up the home's only occupant, a wheelchair user who was safely evacuated. The occupant was evaluated by first responders on the scene but did not need treatment. Crews found the fire in the basement and it had spread to other rooms. It was contained to the basement, but, quote, there was severe smoke damage throughout the home, end quote, the fire department said. The Bob Dylan musical set in Duluth is to become a movie starring Olivia Colman, Woody Harrelson, and Chloe Bailey. Whether or not the movie stars actually come to Duluth to film Girl from the North Country, they'll be acting the parts of Northlanders on screen. The stage musical incorporating songs by Duluth-born Bob Dylan is set to become a movie written and directed by playwright Connor McPherson. Blueprint Pictures is backing a screen adaptation of the stage musical, which premiered in London in 2017. Girl from the North Country subsequently moved to Broadway, with a national tour set to launch this fall at the Orpheum Theater in Minneapolis. Girl from the North Country is an ensemble piece set in a fictional Duluth guest house during the Great Depression. Deadline Hollywood confirmed the attachment of Harrelson, Oscar winner Coleman, and Bailey to star in the film. No further details on the film's production were immediately available, but Duluth's growing film production industry will surely be alert for any sign that the city where the film is set might actually appear on screen. The city looks very different than it did during the Depression, but the aerial lift bridge at least could make a cameo without being too anachronistic. Its center span has been in place since 1930. Now to talk about what's happening in UMD hockey this week, here's sports reporter Matt Wellens with the Bulldogs hockey update.
It was a tough weekend for the Bulldog men's squad, which 1 week after a clean sweep of St. Cloud State, mustered just a single point against Western Michigan at Amsoil Arena. The Bulldogs scored a late extra attacker goal Friday night to force overtime, but the Broncos prevailed in the bonus 3-on-3 period for a 3-2 win. On Saturday, it was all Broncos who won 4-1 over UMD. There's a brief moment in the third period on Saturday where it looked like the Bulldogs could rally again, as Quinn Olson was able to make it a 2-1 game, but it really was a brief moment. The Broncos scored just 9 seconds later to go back up by 2 goals, and that was it. Olsen had 2 of UMD's 3 goals last weekend, the other being the extra attacker goal on Friday. The UMD men are off this week. They return February 17th through the 18th at Denver. The UMD women found themselves in a tight battle down at Minnesota State last weekend, but they took 4 out of 6 points via a come-from-behind 4-3 overtime win on Friday, and then a shootout win on Saturday following a scoreless draw. UMD looked to lose that game on Saturday, actually in overtime with 34 seconds remaining, but Coach Maura Kroll had a successful challenge to overturn what was, at the time, the game-winning overtime goal for the Mavericks. Maggie Flaherty went and got the game winner, or the shootout winner, I should say, to give UMD that extra point. On Friday, Gabby Hughes had the game-tying goal for the Bulldogs, and Manon McMahon got the game winner in OT on Friday. Saturday, the Bulldogs didn't get the win. They had to settle for a tie, but Emma Soderberg earned her 8th shutout of the season and 19th of her career. She now needs 1 shutout to tie the UMD record for shutouts by a goalie, and 2 to tie the single season record. Both of those records are held by Kayla Black. She had 20 career shutouts, including 10 as a junior in 2014-15. The UMD women will host St. Cloud State at 6 p.m. Friday and 3 p.m. Saturday at Amsoil Arena in their final regular season home series of the season. The Bulldogs will be back at Amsoil Arena in March, however, for the WCHA quarterfinals. They clinched that home ice over the weekend against Mankato. Of course, there's also the NCAA Women's Frozen Four, March 17th through the 19th at Amsoil Arena. As of Monday morning, the Bulldogs are number 7 in the pairwise rankings. That puts them in a good position to make the NCAA tournament, though they are going to have to go on the road for the first round and quarterfinals. For more Bulldogs hockey coverage, visit Duluth.com/Bulldog Insider. Check out this week's Bulldog Insider podcast episode with UMD men's junior defenseman Wyatt Kaiser. That drops Thursday.
Now here's a look at your forecast, brought by the News Tribune's 20 Under 40 Awards.
Duluth area weather forecast for today, mostly sunny and mild with temperatures peaking around 35 degrees or so this afternoon. Southwest wind around 5 to 10. For tonight, becoming mostly cloudy, temps only dropping into the middle 20s. And then for tomorrow, clouds with a high around 32 or so and a slight chance of a few flurries or a snow shower in the afternoon. The wind will begin to pick up Thursday afternoon, increasing to around 15 to 20 and may gust as high as 35, and this will blow in slightly colder weather for Thursday night and Friday. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to the 20 Under 40 Awards for their support. Now is your chance to nominate someone younger than 40 who's making a positive impact in our Northland. Nominations are open through February 28th. Submit yours at duluthnewstribune.com/20under40. Reporting for today's episode was done by Alex DeRozier, Jimmy Lovren, and Jay Gabler. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.